Welcome to LawNext PR, the podcast where we put a spotlight on the latest news coming out of the legal tech industry. This is Bob Ambrogi, and in each sponsored episode of LawNext PR, I interview a legal tech company about its just released news or latest developments. Today we're discussing NeosAI, just launched by Assembly Software. And joining me to tell us about the news is the CEO of Assembly Software, Daniel Farrar. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bob. Delighted to be here.
Great to have you. First of all, just because maybe not everybody who's listening to the show knows exactly what Assembly Software is and what Neos is. So maybe you could just a nutshell intro to the company and the product.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. You know, if you go back to our humble beginnings, Assembly is the combination of two long-standing case management and practice management software companies, that being Needles and TrialWorks. Needles originally offered up a product called PINS, which was a personal injury negligence system back in 1985. And then it became Needles. And then in around 2017, Ridge Road Partners came in and put Needles and TrialWorks together, creating, arguably the largest install base of users by a relative market share of 2x. The products that Assembly offers have led the industry in case management technology and have continued to adapt to emerging trends and driving innovation. The Assembly technology platform powers all three of our products. That would be Needles, TrialWorks, and Neos. Neos is our flagship cloud product. And we have been systematically migrating all of our install base users on Needles and TrialWorks to a Neos solution in the cloud, which has a lot more capabilities. So it's been leading the charge and leading the change. Neos has been just an absolute home run in an industry that has, growing right now. You can peg the U.S. market at about 7 to 10 billion in size, growing at about 6%. Neos is clipping at over 60% growth. And of all things, we're coming up on 40 years of experience in case management in 2025. So if you add in Needles and TrialWorks together, we'll have 40 years serving the legal and legal tech industry. Now with Neos, it is our industry-leading SaaS solution. And there's a lot of things that we've done differently to make that the product of choice for law firms. And I'm sure we'll talk about that. But it's especially good in PI, insurance defense, mass torts, public sector. And a little bit of bragging rights, if I can take some time on that one, Bob. We recently won the #1 spot in the G2 Momentum Report ahead of Clio, Filevine, and a number of others for Neos. Our NPS score is well above average, kind of on a 3-month running basis at about 78 with 97% customer satisfaction. And we won the Legal Tech Breakthrough Award 2 years in a row for innovation. We're a leader in both Gartner and the G2 quadrants quarter over quarter. The product is just, it's a natural extension of our technology platform, and it has been designed for ease of use in the integration through microservices built on Microsoft and workflow integrations, which, are required in any law firm's day-to-day case management operations.
Right. Well, speaking of innovation, as we are speaking, you've just launched NeosAI. So tell us more about what it is you've just launched and what it means for legal professionals.
Yeah, I think what's really important is to just go back before we go forward. One of the things that we did at Assembly that I think has really changed the game for the company is we have an integrated voice of the customer. Now, what does that mean? That means we take all of our support tickets, we take all of our CSAT scoring, we take all of our customer effort, all of our customer health scores, we take all the input from our customer advisory boards and a variety of beta inputs. And that allows customers to have a real voice in how the product gets shaped. So when we talk about NeosAI, one of the things that's been, I think, a huge differentiator and why I think it's going to be just a home run for the industry is we launched a beta program with over 60 firms participating in the usage and definition of what NeosAI should be. It's been running for over 9 months now, and it's been all IVOC, integrated voice of the customer, and product-led as we've innovated the product. And we've focused on what actually matters for firms. We let them tell us. And the things that really became, surfaced out of AI for most law firms of all sizes was save me time and help me be more efficient. The purpose and user-driven implementation on a real-world basis for their cases and their user input shaped and defined the delivery of our roadmap. So the evolution of NeosAI, we started thinking that it was going to be document generation, demand letters and other types, field generation. We then moved into conversations with the customer base about document summaries so users could quickly get a synopsis of the content, the files and storage, the summary directly into Neos so it can be searched and reported on. And then we expanded into document extraction with a focus on processing the thing that matters most to a lot of PI firms in insurance defense, which is medical records, extractions, reporting on the key data, and doing summary chronologies. So the key features in Gen 1, and I will say this, Bob, we took a multi-generation approach to AI. We've begun Generation 1, which is being announced in June 5th. And then we're going to have a second generation that comes out that's going to be building on that as we move forward. But it's going to first and foremost be inclusive of AI document summaries, which will you can generate document summaries in seconds. You'll eliminate the need for manual summarization, and it will provide immediate insights into document content without ever having to open the file. Then there'll be AI document generation. So you'll be able to automate document creation using Neos data, allowing for easy customization, previewing, validation before you ever have to download. And then you'll be able to do all of your documentation, AI documentation extraction in your summaries through automatically extracting key data from uploaded documents, streamlining the data entry process, and ensuring the accuracy of the data input. So, I think one of the things that's really important to note is one of the things that we focused on was how much time can we save you? And that was really important to law firms. They told us firsthand, save me time, get me more efficient. And with our NeosAI powered documentation summaries, we believe that now that we've seen it and we put it into action with a number of different test cases, that's going to save your firm up to 10 hours per case in just doing automated summarization capabilities. So you're going to be able to do cases faster, and you're going to be able to save money as you do it on the cost side of the equation. That frees up capacity to apply to other elements of the case. With AI-powered documentation generation, we'll be able to transform document creation by automating research and repetitive drafting, which boosts your efficiency, and it ensures a consistency to it. That's going to save you up to 6 hours per case. With the AI-powered extraction, that will streamline your data. It will ensure accuracy by automating the extraction of the key details of any document, and will save you 20 hours per case. And for the AI-powered dynamic forms, NeosAI adaptable form solutions allows your firm to customize and streamline critical processes and enhancing the productivity and control while providing the firm the opportunity to be the final approver of all of its outbound documentations to any of their clients. I think one of the things that's really critical when you think about AI, especially in legal, there's been a lot of misstarts here. We've seen a lot of people get out into market quickly, and then they wanted to be first. They wanted to get the big valuations, but their AI solutions weren't really all that well thought out. And I'm not going to name any names, but a lot of them are, it's an AI solution where they do the documentation generation, they'll do field generation, but then they'll collect that information back. It comes into a central repository, and then they ship it overseas to have, a 1-week cycle time to check that work with human intervention. That's not AI. That's a BPO. And by the way, those two things are actually in conflict with each other when you think about trying to scale that. If you're doing 10,000 demand generations and you have 50 people checking that work, what happens when it goes up to 100,000? How many more people do you need on the other end to check the work? It's just, that is not AI to us. When you're a NeosAI, it's powered by Microsoft's ecosystem and OpenAI technology. And by the way, it is completely embedded into the Neos workflow solution. You never have to leave the system. So it seamlessly accelerates your productivity with your existing workflows. You never have to leave. You can toggle in, toggle out as you use it, and it gives you a chance to save the time, create the capacity you need, so that you can then go back and check the work, check your facts, check the sentiment, and make sure it's the way you want to have it presented as you begin shaping your casework.
Daniel, what about security? I mean, obviously that's been a huge concern among law firms when they're thinking about deploying AI in any way. So what are you doing to ensure that client data is protected when your customers are using AI?
Yep. So we take what we call zero net retention policy. NeosAI not only boosts the efficiency, but it prioritizes data security, utilizing AI models provided by Microsoft and Azure AI. So we utilize their microservices with a zero net data retention policy. And this policy aligns with global data privacy regulations such as GDPR and CCPA, ensuring compliance and protecting all sensitive information as required. So we've got that button down pretty hard. That we took a very, zero tolerance policy on confidentiality and security.
So I'm wondering if I can just kind of ask you the bigger picture question, because as you say, you've got, you not personally, but your company has 40 years of experience in this space. This is still an emerging and evolving technology. What do you think it ultimately means for law practice? What do you think generative AI and these new AI technologies ultimately mean for practicing lawyers?
It's interesting, Bob. It's a fantastic question to posit, because I think when you think about the ways law firms, lawyers in general, have to do their work, there is just an immense amount of reading, fact-checking, data collection, processing, and it's this repetitive cycle that you have to continue to go through to make sure you've got everything required and necessary to prove your case. And when you think about AI, what could be a better solution for you? When you are working with a perfect data set. Now, what do I mean by perfect? Let's say you have all the correct facts that you are asking your AI to work within. If the facts are correct and the information is correct, the regression or the R squared on that is going to be 1.0. It's going to be great, and AI is going to serve you very well. When you ask AI to take data and then interpret it, and it gets outside of factual content, that it doesn't know whether it's accurate or inaccurate because you haven't vetted it, your R squared drops to probably about 0.5. And when you ask it to be creative, you're talking about who the hell knows what you're going to get for a response from AI. It's probably going to go to 0. But I think as we look ahead, we're going to continue to work with firms to collect and learn more about use cases and productivity and automation. That's where this really begins. Law firms are going to define how to use AI. And, I will say this, I think law firms in general, whether they're one lawyer or all the way up to AmLaw 100, have been a little slow to adopt the cloud. That curve is now, we've gotten past that. I think they're going to take a slightly slower approach with AI. They're going to want to be spoon-fed. But when they've had a voice in shaping it, I think the adoption and the usership for it will go up dramatically. So we're going to spend some more time with NeosAI to the extent of developing carve-out teams that represent specific case expertise. We'll work on the expansion of AI-driven workflows that create smart automation and improve productivity for law firms. We'll look at how we can use advanced analytics in combination with NeosAI data that results for improved user experiences, that the data represents a functional evolution of the information that they'd previously been working with. We'll look at, creating probably dynamically generated forms from documents and that automatically could recognize key value pairs or store data directly into Neos. There's just a ton of things that could happen here to the extent that document generation could be expanded. We can do extractions, summary modeling, even more data that already exists inside the capabilities of Neos. And then ultimately, I think the future state gets to data interrogation, involving and extending the natural language to quickly find relevant information and insights into cases. And that allows that intake to include the use of small language models that, make it very, very simple for the legal teams to just kind of embrace, because there's no specialized, computer languages here.
Well, we got just a couple minutes left here. Any final words before we wrap up?
I think Gen AI it's going to become the great equalizer in many industries. It's going to change the game. And while we're in our early stages of it, the beauty of AI is as it continues to learn, it gets smarter very, very fast. And as the data is fed to it, I think tech CEOs, whether they're in the law space or another vertical, our job is to find the ways to leverage generative AI on behalf of our customers and find the ways that allow customers to gain that time savings and gain that productivity and get those efficiencies and improve their margins. So it's really, asking yourself questions about where do you start? How do you prioritize it? What investment should I make and where? And that's where I think, working on our IVOC process, the integrated voice of the customer, has changed that dynamic for us. It allows us to really eliminate the guesswork and missed opportunities and focus on what law firms really want.
Yeah, I like that customer-driven approach. That's obviously the right way to be doing it. So, well, congratulations on this launch, and thank you so much for joining me today to share the news.
Thank you, Bob. It was a pleasure.
That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube at LawNext_PR. You can also find all the episodes in the LawNext Legal Tech directory under the Resources tab. This is Bob Ambrogi. Thanks for listening.